Good morning. I just wanted to come on real quick and talk about 8 free tools you can use to grow your coaching business. So I just put it in the comments. We talked about a lot more tools, and some of them are paid in the Facebook group. So if you want to see more of this, go to dreamclientcommunity.com so you can see all of the other tools. They're a mixture of paid and free tools, but I want to talk about 8 free tools that you can use in your business right now to grow your coaching business. So, hey Lizzie. So let's just talk about, these are the basic essentials that you need in order to actually work with people. If we're going to have a coaching business, we need to have an actual flow, so a client workflow, and we talk all about workflows and processes, documenting them in Stand Out Coaching Academy. But these are the basic tools that you need in order to work with one-on-one clients, and some of them you can actually use to work with your students. So the first one is you need an email service provider, and you don't need to spend $40 a month and get with ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign or any of those. You can use something free like MailerLite, and MailerLite is awesome. It's very visual and intuitive, and I recommend it to all coaches who are just starting because it's very easy, and I think it's free up to 1,000 subscribers. So if you've been listening to me at all this week, you know that there are different phases in your coaching business, and you're primarily using MailerLite in the set phase and probably through the serve phase. And then once you kind of get into the scale phase, you're going to be upgrading your email service provider life and you're going to be using something else. But MailerLite works beautifully, and I recommend it to all of the students. We have lots of trainings on how to send out campaigns, how to set up your automations, your funnels. MailerLite makes all of that super duper simple. And the next one is Asana. So when we document workflows and processes with our business, we communicate with team members, we use Asana because that's kind of the brain of the business. That's where our calendar is. That's where everything is stored. And that's where I kind of live. I always have my Asana tab up. I always put all of my ideas and thoughts into Asana to see if they kind of align with my vision for my business. And then I work from there. So I know there are also a lot of other project management systems like Trello and other things that are out there, but using Asana has definitely changed the way I am organized in my business, how I keep my goals, how I go through my week. It's been a game changer, and I highly recommend it. Again, this is free too. You don't need to have a paid version of Asana. Maybe when you have more team members working with you, then you would want to upgrade, but it's still not necessary. So that's another free tool. So we have MailerLite, we have Asana. Then next on my list is Canva. Canva is where we create all of our workbooks, all of our graphics for everything that we use in our business. That's where everything is. I love Canva, and you might be a Photoshop person and you might like to do more advanced work. That's just not me. I used Photoshop and I got super frustrated because it's just not my favorite thing in the world. So I love Canva. I love that it stores all of your images for you, and you don't need to worry about having a lot of stuff on your computer. So like, for example, you can use templates. So we will do templates for the podcast, and we will take the images of the guests that we have, load them into Canva and put them in our template, and then we're able to share them with our audiences and the podcast guests, and just makes life so much simpler. So definitely recommend Canva. The only reason why we have the upgraded version is because we like to have our branding colors in there, and then if you have any special fonts that you've purchased or created, you can load them into Canva too. The next one is Later. So we highly recommend you have a social media plan, and in order to do that efficiently, you need to have a social media scheduler. And I love Later because it's free. You can plan up to 30 posts for free, which is pretty perfect in my opinion. That allows you to post once a day for a month, and you can set the times. You can see insights as to when you need to post. If you go to your Instagram account and you go to Insights, you can see that when your audience is most available and active on your profile, and then you can plan your posts, your later posts, to go out during that time. So you're kind of using the best things for you. So for me, my audience is really active between noon and 3 Central. So we will plan our posts to go out in between that time, around like 2-ish or something. So use all of the things that are available to you. I think everyone has access to their insights on Instagram. So go and see what those are, and then use Later to plan your posts. If you know what's going on for the week ahead, go and plan them out in Later. And then I think that you should, there's so many different opinions about this. So you can either have later manually, or not manually, you can have later post for you, or you can have them send you a push notification when you still do it yourself. I still do that. I still like to have the push notification because I think Instagram likes that better, but you do have an option. So schedule out your posts, know what's happening in your social media world in advance, and then get that working for you. The next thing is use social media. Social media is free. So if you're not using the platforms where your audience is hanging out on, you're kind of doing your business a disservice by kind of staying where nobody is. It's like hanging out in the kitchen and everyone is in the living room and you're wondering, why isn't anything working for you? You have to go where your people are. So think about your future clients and students. Where are they hanging out? Is it Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, wherever it is? That's where you got to be. And all of these places are free. So make sure you're using them to the best of your ability. The next one is you need a place for people to actually book to work with you. And the email tag game is really irritating. I know that I've been on email chains where we're trying to decide on a time and you just want them to say, here's the link to my calendar. Let's make life a lot easier for people to work with you and spend time with you by creating a calendar booking system. And I love Setmore, Setmore. It's free, and if you want more robust capabilities, you can upgrade, but you don't need to. Setmore works so well. I have it synced up to my Google Calendar, my iPhone calendar, with Zoom. I have it hooked up to everything, so I have one big calendar in my Asana where I can see when I have calls and webinars and all of those things that fill up a coach's life. So using Setmore is definitely a must. I've used Acuity, I've used Calendly. I highly recommend Setmore. It works really well and it talks to everything. And again, you don't need to have the upgraded version. The only reason why I have the upgraded version is when clients sign on to work on with me, we do a 12 call package. So having to book 12 calls one after the other takes a lot of time. So we decided, in order to make that a lot easier, let's just upgrade our Setmore experience and have the recurring option. So we're able to say, book 12 calls starting May 1st every Saturday up until July, and then it'll do it for us. And then you can go in and edit it, but it saves a ton of time because it's you have to fill in your client and the service and all of that, and it takes about a half hour to schedule all of those calls. So it saves you a ton of time, and time is irreplaceable. So we need to kind of reach out where we can to get things to work a little bit better on our behalf. But it's not necessary. If you have that kind of time to do that, by all means do it. It's totally fine to use the free version. The next one, there's a lot of options for this. And this is where you're storing like your course, where you're storing maybe some bonuses, where you're storing, like, let's say you have a client and you said you have a lot of courses for them to take. You can store all of that stuff in a school platform, and I use Teachable. Teachable is free if you want to just use the basic package, and it's perfectly capable to do everything that you want it to do, especially if you just want it to house your course material. When you're just in the set phase and the serve phase, totally fine. When you start building your program and you start taking on more clients and your business is really escalating, then you might want to upgrade your Teachable. The only reason would be to make the process of people enrolling, instead of you doing it manually, have it move through automatically. That's the only reason why. I don't use the Teachable payment system. I don't like it. I don't like their sales page, but I do like their the school. I like how the courses are laid out. Super easy. I know my students like it, but you don't have to have the paid version whatsoever. Zoom. Zoom is everything. We use Zoom for all of our group calls. We Zoom for VIP client calls because Zoom records it. And they also will store it for you in their cloud. We have the paid version of Zoom, but there is a free version. The only thing you want to pay attention to when you're using the free version is I don't think it automatically records your calls for you, and I think it has a time limit as to how long it will record. So just be mindful of that. I know when I very first started using Zoom about 4 or 5 years ago, I remember I did my first webinar ever and I forgot to hit the record button. and that sucked. So if you have the upgraded version, it will automatically record for you, and this definitely could have changed within the last 5 years. But I think maybe you have like a 45-minute limit and then you're cut off. So maybe fork over the extra $14 a month to have the cloud feature, and so it records for you. I definitely recommend it, but you don't need it, because Zoom is great because you can talk to people all over the world via video or audio, and you don't have to have all these complicated phone numbers and all of the stuff that it takes to talk with people in other countries. And for Standout Coaching Academy, that's where we meet on group calls, and then we will download the recording and load them into Teachable, so the students who missed the call or they want to watch it again to hear their answers can go and watch it. So Zoom is great. Zoom is always working. All of the programs that I mentioned to you are always working for us in our favor, because we chose to use them and think positive about them, and they are a definite must and asset in our business. So if you want to learn more about more of the paid tools and services that I use in my coaching business, go to dreamclientcommunity.com. You can watch the live. We just did it like a half hour ago, and you can watch that. And if you have any questions about anything that I didn't mention, I go over a lot of tools in the Facebook group. Let me know in the comments and I will answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.